Welcome to Keeper of Secrets Tarot. I'm Gypsy Girl, here to give you another lesson for today. I'm grateful for the energy coming in, for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Grateful that I can come to this deck, bring the lesson. Thank you, Spirit, for protecting and keeping the collective safe, for protecting me and keeping me safe. What is the lesson for today? Thank you, Spirit. What does the collective need to learn today? What is the lesson for today? The Seven of Cups. Confusion. Either we are confused or we are trying to confuse. The lesson is in coming out of the confusion, cutting away, freeing the mind, freeing the heart, freeing the soul. Free, to be free, is what we need to learn from confusion. Because once we're in the confusion itself, the goal is to get out of it, because we realize that we are either in the confusion or we're creating that confusion in order to free ourselves, free someone. It's a question of going from one extreme to the next. So what would be the tool? That wanting to be in a relationship, that sense of emotion, deep emotion, is confused. So going all out, full on into confusion for love. This lesson is very deep. I'll say that because it's all the cups, eh? But you see, when we take the 7 and then we add the 1, it is about leaving. So confusing in order to leave is where this would end up. Like I started off saying, confusing to get out or confusing to get in. It's being confused or confusing others. But with the intention is to confuse. The intention is to create an illusion. That is the key here. So confusing to create an illusion. Neptune is in play, eh? And we all have to learn some level of confusion here. But you have to put it in your perspective, in your situation, and see where the confusion is in your life. If you are the one causing the confusion, or if you are being brought into the confusion for a question of love. Spirit is giving us this tool as if to say, well, if you're going to learn what confusion is, you might as well go in to the deepest part of it, which is emotional confusion. That wanting to be in a relationship is like bait. Okay? To use a commitment or a intention, because it's the intention here. That intend, I want, I will, I offer. That intention is the key to learning, or even say, when I say learning, it is a question of experience. So if you've never been in a third party situation, well, you may end up in one simply because it is your destiny to experience a third party situation, and it is through the illusion of being in a relationship that you will learn what it is to be in a third party situation. For some, it's again all on different levels. Then there is the real sense of, I want to be in a third party situation because I want this one and I want that one for different reasons, and I want to keep a relationship going on both sides because I get my satisfaction from both parties. That's intention on the behalf of, you're really working through what you want in the way you want it, and your ego is bringing you into the third party situation. Again, this is Neptune, the illusion. You are either deluding yourself, or you are trying to create that illusion of having more than you really need. And it is a question of your ego. You're trying to feed that ego. For some, that is another lesson in itself, because you will go through the pushing and the pulling of the confusion, and then get yourself caught up, so that you will in the end face your own ego and realize that what you've done is just creating an illusion for yourself. It's a whole other lesson by itself there. So let's not go too far into how many lessons we could bring into this, because there are many. But because it is a question of intention, this is what when I say you, the figure in this card, the prince here, okay, this prince, he is only interested in being in relationship. He's willing to take the chance, and even knowing that he could get hurt, he's still willing to go. This is why I call him the kamikaze prince, because he's willing to take the chance, knowing that he could get into trouble with the relationship. He's looking at this particular partner, and then he spots another one, and he's like, well, I can't really choose between the two. I want them both. So I'll try to figure a way to keep them both. And that is where he gets his heart caught up and broken in most cases, because he ends up either getting thrown to the side because the partner finds out that there is a third partner in this partnership and walks away, or is hurtful and breaks his heart, or he ends up saying, well, take it as it is, or you could leave because this is how I want it. Ego again. So let's see if it leads us to tying our ego into knots. Let's see what Spirit is giving and doing for us, because Spirit is giving us this ability to get into relationships very romantically and very easily. Okay, so what is Spirit doing? Spirit is giving us that mental battle, going through the motions of setting up the pins in order to knock them down in the order that we want. Mind games. It's very, very manipulative. Very manipulative. Interesting how the lesson is just developing into even more of a confused state, because romantically, because it is romantic, this is very romantic, this is by the moon even, the chatter that will come from this prince is all about getting what he wants. He will say and pretty much do whatever it takes to get this confusion into play. And Spirit is giving us the ability to understand mind games, the ability to twist and unravel what would be plots and schemes, and standing in that sense of, well, I wouldn't say truth, but, well, it could be working to take back, or it could be working to confuse even more. So it really depends on your circumstance and your situation and how you see yourself fitting into this mode of confusion and the mind game in itself. Is it you that is standing in what you see as your truth in making a relationship or the intention of having a relationship, not being able to choose? So the confusion is, do I know I need to make a choice? And the choice is very difficult. But here, this is all about setting up and taking advantage, saying things that would convince the next person to follow, even lies, as it were. So the illusion becomes deceitful, because it is, this can go into very deep levels of deceit, this 5. It is verbal, it is very mental, so you're plotting and scheming on how to confuse a romance, or in order to keep many romances going at the same time. You have to work at it. And Spirit is giving us the knowledge of, well, this is where it's going to end up, or be careful because someone is trying to manipulate you. So you will have to stand in your own sense of manipulation to protect yourself from getting into the confusion. Because remember, Spirit is giving us the know-how in how to manipulate, to get into third parties, how to confuse romantically, and how to take what has been taken from us, how to stand and fight to get that back. See, Spirit is giving us all of that, the good, bad, and the ugly of mental manipulation. Okay, this is working in the mind here. And this is what Spirit is giving us. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. This is not funny at all. But the fact that we are quite capable of locking ourselves into relationships that are not good for us, Spirit has given us the same ability to get ourselves out of that type of a circumstance. As I started off saying, either you're trying to confuse to get in, or you're trying to confuse to get out. You take it as it fits. So what is the gift? If we have the know-how and the ability to get in and get out, what is the gift? Destiny. Now there you go. The lesson is the destiny. Now, this is what we would consider as just desserts, but not really. I mean, I say not really. The star here, this is your focal point in some respect to what is the gift. Being able to focus, being able to open the door to receive our riches. What we deserve, in other words, is going to come from being caught up in confusion, in being able to discern, in being able to confuse even more, to free ourselves, to stand in our truth, to lie and manipulate romantically in order to get what we want. The just desserts will come. Now, whatever you think is good for you may come, but then again, it may not come in the way you are expecting it, because something is definitely coming as you deserve this. The focus here, again, the star is where we've put our focus. What is it that we really want? What is it that we want? Because it's going to come in boons. Being put into confusion, being put there to learn what it is going to bring something good out of it. When I say good, I don't mean, again, I don't mean to laugh. The goodness is in measure of how you manipulate. If you're doing it for the greater good, to teach a lesson, to help another person rise above, then there is just desserts there. But it has to do with the positive end. If you're doing this in a manipulative, negative, dysfunctional, you see, because this can go either way. These cards here can work both for positive and for negative. The prince in himself, he is not malicious in wanting to be in a relationship. He just wants to be in a relationship. He will take whatever opportunity comes to be in a relationship, whether it is a third party situation or a true love situation, because he is always on the lookout for the true love. But they see, that's where the illusion comes in, because he thinks that every relationship is true love, and that's how he gets confused. You see, that's how he gets confused. He believes that every relationship he falls into is the real true love relationship, until he takes a little while to realize that no, this isn't true love, and then he's hurt by it because he's extremely emotional. He's very emotional. And then he wants to stay in the relationship because he believes that it could turn around because of the manipulation that is brought to him. To say, well, no, we could make it work. We can make it work. We'll figure it out. But then it's only making more and more confusion. And that's for some. It's not for everybody. This is just to say the extremities here. But if you're using manipulation in a relationship to teach a lesson to someone, be careful. Because revenge in itself brings in the just desserts. And this card here could take on that vengeance mode. As in, Spirit is giving us the know-how. Spirit is giving us that free will to choose which way we want to go with what information is given. So, in other words, you have a loaded gun and you're not sure the caliber when you pull the trigger. Do you really want to find out the hard way by just pulling the trigger and seeing what will come, or you want to work through and see the consequences? Because we are given that option here. Whatever we do, we will be rewarded for it. So what is at the bottom of the deck then? Curious here. For the justice, this is destiny. You're destined to be in a third party situation. Oh, look at that. At the bottom, we have the commitment. The deck just opened up. We have that commitment. So Spirit is giving us everything we need to know about the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we could have a commitment. Because it's destined to go through this confusion. We're going with the Wands. We stop at the Eight of Pentacles, which is a good card to stop on, because it is working out all of the details. So for commitment, confusion in commitment. Here we go. Confusion in commitment. Let's bring everything down. And then I check. Okay. So the commitment is here. That's how it's supposed to end. But we remember this 7 and this 1 here make an 8. So it's a question of, are you going to leave to get a commitment? Because of the mind games, destiny will make a play to shift. See, it's a question of what you want to do. This can go either way. But let's take it from, okay, so we choose here. We choose because we choose it. We want to be in a relationship. And the lesson is to either confuse to get out of a relationship so that we could get into another one, or we just want to confuse so we could have a relationship because we don't have another choice, or we don't believe that we have options. But like I said, it is all about the ego. And we have this 7 of Pentacles showing up as work having been done. This prince has done quite a bit. He's done quite a bit. And there is patience within our midst of having a commitment, because the flow is that what we have done is going to come into fruition. But this comes after the commitment. Because of work that has already been done. We're committed to being patient with our ego. Since we don't know what this commitment is for. All we know is it's romantic. But to what level? I mean, put it to your perspective. It's a commitment to work. It's a commitment for work. It's a commitment to work on projects, to take on leadership. Because you don't want to be in a relationship that is compromised. That 8 of Cups. You're taking yourself away to have a commitment to building and pruning and being patient and tempering an ego that will bring conversation and not just conversation, but movement, change, expansion. Again, this is passion. So we're looking at how we can expand on what we do already know. Remember, this is where we make the choice as to what kind of relationship we want to have. What have we What have we done in the past that is coming into fruition now because of our commitment? What it is that we are committed to? Is it to our self-esteem? Is it to our integrity? Is it to just being in a relationship and doing whatever it takes? Whatever it takes. Now remember, this is going to be very manipulative as a card. The 5. Very manipulative. So it depends on what level. And if we're looking at the Emperor here, it is extremely manipulative. Very egotistical manipulation. Power hungry. Want to control. Anger even. And this is where we see and discern, because the Emperor, again, it's 2 sides of the sword. To get in or to get out. This is where we know what we need to do, the maneuvers that we need to make. And we use that, but then we are tempering the ego because we are sacrificing. You see, the Emperor now makes a sacrifice. So it brings down, it tones down because of the work that has been done, because of the commitment to be patient, to temper the ego, to be in a leadership role, as in I take myself out of confusion. I take myself out of a third party situation, because again, the 8 of Cups is to leave the confusion, to leave a situation in order to be successful, in order to have your just desserts. Or you go the other way and say you want to stay in the confusion, you want to just be manipulative to the highest degree of manipulation, and take that step to sacrifice everything that was done for this relationship to be confused and go into marriage, because you want to go into a higher level of commitment here, because that's the 4. Now again, we have all kinds of ways we could take this. To keep a third party situation and go into marriage with that third party situation is a long haul, because it will take a lot of work to maintain that third party and that ego, and that's a lot of work. It's a real slow, hard process. But it's contrary. The ending here, well, the ending, it doesn't really end, but we're not going to go further because there's no point. I mean, you take it to your situation, how this fits as a lesson would go. If you are in a situation where you are the leader, where you are in a leadership role, you feel that you need to sacrifice something in order to move on into a higher level of self-knowledge, of self-understanding. If you see yourself rising above and leaving a situation where you were feeling compromised for whatever reason. Again, this is all about romance, but we don't want to just say it's all about love. This could mean it's just personal growth, where you've decided that you've had enough experiences with third-party situations, and you don't want that lifestyle anymore. You want to sacrifice something. You want to give up that, oh, I don't want this. This is not good for me. This has never worked in my favor. It has costed me so much. I've paid out so much to have all of this confusion around me. I mean, you're waking up to sense and sensibility. This is a mastery card. So for some of us, I mean, the lesson can go all kinds of ways here. But for some of us, it is a question of elevation. It is about taking yourself to a higher level, where you evolve. You're waking up to what real truth is. The stuff we don't want to face. Okay, that's where Pluto comes in and says, you need to look into this. And for you to understand that you need to look into this, I am Pluto. I'm going to place you where you will have no choice but to feel what it is to be in a confused state. Whether it is just personal confusion where you have so many choices that you don't know which way to go, or it is dealing with other people in a relationship where you are falling into a third party situation because you cannot seem to choose between one or another. That's a good lesson here, because it is all about having a commitment. You see, it's just these 4 cards. We want a commitment according to this. Okay, the key here is to make a proposal, a romantic, very romantic one, but there is confusion attached, and the only way to work through that is with patience and deciphering exactly what it is we want with our commitment, with our wanting to be in a relationship, going over what is the drive to put us into a relationship, whether it is in confusion or not. We are given this 4 cards here. We are given this to work out what it is we want in a relationship, and then Spirit gives us everything we need to know about manipulating in and out of relationships, and also our ego is brought into the limelight here. Now, because it is Pentacles showing up, the 7 and the 8, we're spiraling up in what it is the details are. So we're becoming more knowledgeable. We're becoming more, either we're working more. This is relating to work commitments where there's a lot of confusion at work, and you need to figure out if you are committed to this work or if you need to change and leave, go somewhere else because you're not stable. You're not feeling that stability where we work. And that in itself will bring you to your own leadership, where you could say, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to go off and find something else. And you will receive. The last card showing is about abundance, coming in, whether you earn it or it is granted to you by the universe because of what you've been through. If it is a divorce, that you are going to get paid out because you're calling out that confusion in your marriage, and your divorce brings in, well, you're caught red-handed, so now you have to pay me, that kind of thing. Sacrifice. Something needs to be sacrificed in order to get your just desserts. That's what's going on here. Manipulating on a level that is very high, meaning that you are in control or someone else is in control, but the manipulation is at a very high level. It's on a leadership level, where it brings in change because of experience. You are able to decipher, discern, and eliminate what it is you don't want around you, to bring, because it goes from the 8 to the 4. So we're going down a notch, meaning that the ego is being tempered, sacrificing, and being able to go into a spiritual connection with the self and another, or just taking the next step into humility and being able to work with it, being able to to become more abundant, to bring in what it is you really want away from the confusion. Either way, we're stepping away from the confusion by earning our position through humility. Through humility, we will be able to make a real relationship come with a real commitment that is prosperous, because we are taking those steps. This is a good lesson. Let's see what the oracle message is for this lesson today. Thank you, Spirit. What is the oracle message for this lesson? It's quite chatty though. Well, it's confusion. It's confusion. Let's see, what is the oracle message? Let's cut. Higher levels of understanding, higher levels of spirituality for others, higher levels of relationships. See, embodiment and creation. Let's see what follows this. Protection, building up boundaries, and knowing that if it's not working out for you now, it's something good will come. Okay, it's gonna come slowly but surely. Yeah, it's not so slow. This is passion here. This moves fast, but the slowness is in working it out. What did you really want in the relationship? Okay, I mean, it keeps shifting around, but let's see. Embodiment. Let's read that one. Again, it's the 8th, so you're taken back. You're taken back. See, Spirit is giving us that ability to take back and say, well, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and I'm going to work with that. So it says, now unsown from the flesh, a most alluring lullaby stills my pain as the skies bleed for my heart and the embodiment I am to claim. Remembering what it is you really want, what you worked hard for, what you've already put into work. Why is it being confused now? For some, is what you will need to figure out. And this is what Spirit is giving us, to the know-how. Because you are going back, we are all going back into what we did a few months ago, or weeks ago, even a few years back, even more than a few years back. We're all shifting as our just desserts come in. We're all shifting, knowing that fruition is here. This is either blooming and giving fruit, or showing that it wasn't pruned properly and no fruit will come. Okay, but that is small amounts of I shouldn't say small amounts. It just depends on your situation and what you are looking into as for where confusion is in your life. Okay, because this is work that has been done. This is patience. This is pruning and tending to with love, being committed. You see, committed to working out and being patient. The commitment is in the patience for this ego to be sacrificed, to go into a higher level of relationship. That is where the confusion is going to unravel, and the just desserts coming in because of what we've done, from what we've remembered, for what we need to come back now and reclaim. And then that brings us, I like this protection card. We're going to look at that one too. This creation, the 6, so we go down. You see, we're going down. That means we're going into the humiliation, the humility of what we've done, where we've been, who we are, recognizing everything about ourselves, taking that long, hard look at our lives. So the confusion is up to you. What is confusion? Me, I'm not going to say, oh, it's third parties, it's third parties. No. You decide what the confusion is it that you are linked to. Through the darkness I crossed, and still I found myself in the presence of life. It means you haven't given up. You're not giving up. And why should you? You have too much of a control of your own life to have that need to give up. And because he will not give up, regardless of how many hearts break his, not that he breaks others, but yes, he does, he can, depending on situation. But it's him who usually gets the heartbreak. And even though he gets the heartbreak, he's okay, I'll just keep trying, I'll try again, the next one will be good. That's where the not giving up comes in, and knowing that there is light out of this darkness. That we know. That Spirit gives us that knowledge. Okay? And then there's the protection. So we'll just read that. The Rowan. Again, it's a 7. So it's very guided by Spirit. So there is no need to fear, dear one. Protected you are, and protected you will always be. Coming away from that confusion, knowing that you have that sense of control. We all do. This is you, me, and everybody else in between. How we decide what we want. Is it that we will humble ourselves so that we can have that true connection to both Spirit and another? Because that's what this is all about. You and another, and all of your experiences coming together on the same plane. It is possible for those of us who want, and it will be protected, because Spirit is saying that is what is coming to you. If you are meant to be in a relationship, a true relationship, then you will be. And if you are meant to go through third-party situations, and you have to, and it is a question of how you maneuver through them. Does it make you stronger, or does it make you humble? With that, I thank you for showing up, for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Until our next lesson, love and light.